For more than a century, the automotive world was a closed club with well-defined rules. The map was predictable: German engineering precision, legendary Japanese durability, and the brute force of American mass production set the pace on the roads. Giants like Toyota, Ford, and Mercedes-Benz were not just companies, they were institutions that shaped the global economy and the lifestyle of generations. For decades, it seemed impossible for any outsider to challenge these century-old empires that held a monopoly on combustion technology. After all, it wasn't just about building cars. It was about mastering engines, logistics chains, global suppliers, and a reputation built over more than 100 years. But while the world looked to Detroit and Stuttgart, a silent revolution was being born in a workshop in China. A company that started by manufacturing small cell phone batteries decided it would completely rewrite the rules of the automotive industry. At first, they were underestimated and ridiculed, seen as just another cheap copy of the West, with no proprietary technology and no real chance of competing with established giants. Today, that company is BYD, and it is making the CEOs of the most powerful brands on the planet lose sleep. BYD, whose name carries the promise, "Build your dreams," did not emerge from inheritance or large investment funds. It was born from the mind of Wang Chuanfu. Orphaned and raised in a humble family of farmers in rural China, Wang devoted his entire life to science. He became an expert in chemistry and metallurgy, developing a deep understanding of energy storage, something that today is simply at the heart of everything. In 1995, with money borrowed from relatives, he founded BYD in Shenzhen. For years, while the world saw the company merely as a quiet supplier of batteries for Nokia and Motorola cell phones, Wang was actually funding a much bigger plan. He worked for nearly 20 years under an almost military-like discipline, accumulating capital, knowledge, and technological mastery. While traditional brands were chasing greater thermal efficiency in gasoline engines, Wang was operating in the shadows, refining exactly what those companies ignored: batteries. In 2003, when BYD acquired a struggling automaker, investors reacted with shock and mockery. A battery factory trying to build complex vehicles? It sounded like a joke. What they didn't realize was that Wang wasn't starting from scratch. He was playing a chess game that had already been underway for 2 decades. While Tesla and traditional automakers were building fragile webs of global suppliers, BYD made the most radical decision in the industry: full vertical integration. Wang decided that BYD would manufacture almost everything in-house, not just the batteries, but also electric loaders, semiconductors, control systems, software, and even the dashboard screens. This strategy ended up becoming the company's greatest competitive advantage during the pandemic. When the world came to a halt due to a shortage of chips and basic components, BYD simply kept producing. No collapses, no reliance on third parties. By controlling its own destiny, the company was able to scale production at a speed the West was not prepared to match. This productive isolation made it possible to launch new models in a matter of months, while competitors took years. But there was still one problem: trust. The fear of fires and explosions has always been a barrier for electric cars. BYD tackled this issue head-on with the Blade battery. Using lithium iron phosphate chemistry, LFP, they created a battery that is cheaper, more durable, and safer. In the nail penetration test, where conventional batteries explode and catch fire, the Blade battery remains stable. This demonstration went viral, and it wasn't just technical, it was psychological. They didn't just sell technology, they sold confidence. And that opened the doors for aggressive global expansion. Europe, Southeast Asia, and of course Brazil, which has become a strategic pillar with billion-dollar investments in local factories. Now it's no longer about imports, it's about local production and industrial scale.
But BYD's impact went beyond safety and in-house manufacturing. It triggered what many analysts call the Great Price War. By mastering every stage of production, the company achieved a level of cost efficiency that allowed it to offer cutting-edge technology at a fraction of the price of traditional brands. This created a mathematical dilemma for giants like Volkswagen and Toyota. Either they drastically cut their profit margins to try to compete, or accept losing massive shares of the global market. It was no longer a question of who made the most beautiful car, but who could deliver the best financial logic to the end consumer. This shift forced a wave of restructuring in Detroit and across Europe, proving that in the new automotive world, the agility of a tech-driven company will always outperform the inertia of a bureaucratic empire.
However, BYD's checkmate wasn't limited to the final product coming out of its factories. Wang Chuanfu understood, before his competitors, that to dominate the global market, he needed to control the ecosystem in which the car operates. The company began investing heavily in ultra-fast charging infrastructure and in residential and commercial energy storage solutions. Around the world, BYD is not just selling vehicles, it is implementing electric public transportation networks, from buses to magnetic levitation trains, creating a technological dependence that goes far beyond dealerships. This systemic vision transforms the brand from a simple automaker into a global energy utility. For consumers, this means BYD doesn't just offer a means of transportation, but the security of a complete infrastructure, something traditional brands, still tied to the old gas station model, are struggling to understand and replicate.
In 2025, the numbers confirmed the impossible. BYD surpassed the mark of 4.5 million vehicles sold, overtaking historic giants and directly influencing global prices. Today, when BYD lowers its prices, the entire market feels the ripple effect. The company didn't just enter the game, it changed the rules. BYD's rise represents a tectonic shift in global industrial power. Today, the winner is whoever controls the technology and the supply chain. BYD didn't ask for permission, it simply kicked the door down. The story of Wang Chuanfu proves that quiet work and strategic vision can defeat century-old empires. The automotive world will never be the same again, because the future is no longer being built in the noise of engines, but in the silence of batteries.